This conference will now be recorded.
Today we are discussing about SSRS reports, SQL Server reporting services. In this SSRS reports, I would like to tell you two types of reports here. One is a query-based report. I mean, so suppose we have a simple data, but I just want to show in a report. For example, we have a employee table information. This information directly I want to show in a report, so that we can create a query-based report directly. Suppose if we have any constraints, then we can go for something like RDP model, a report data provider. This is another type of report. Okay, let me. Okay, I just want to show this table information in a report itself. Okay, so here we have to create a query-based query model first. I mean, we have to create a query, and then we have to attach that query in SSRS report section. Now let me create a query. I mean here I just want to show this information in a report. That's it. That is a very simple, straightforward report. Okay. So there are some procedures to show this information, this table information in a report. How I will do? Just observe here. Now I'm creating a new item. Here there is a data model and there is a query. Here I'm creating a query EMP table query. Query in the sense it is a X++ query. Okay. I mean normally in SQL we will write query also, right? Like select a star from EMP table. That is a SQL query. So technically we can also create an object to render that kind of information. Okay, we are binding some data to the query that if we use this query name, automatically we will get that data. Okay, here let me provide it is a join type query normally. Okay, and here there is a data sources. In this data source, simply we need to drag and drop the table, which data you want to bind with this query. You just need to drag and drop the table directly into the data sources. Now if you expand the data source, now you are unable to see the fields list, because if you go to the data source properties, there is a property called dynamic fields. We should change the property from unselected to yes. Then automatically system will render the fields in your query. Okay, now all the fields are available in the query itself. Okay, now I'm creating a report and I will attach this query in report itself. Now I'm creating a new item, going to the reports. I'm creating a report here. Just I'm giving name EMP query report. Okay. First of all, just provide the title for your report. Like just I'm giving like all employees. Okay, all employees. And here there is a data set prop. There is a data set node here. We should create a new data set and we need to attach the query here. Okay, right click on the data set. I'm adding a new data set, and the data set name I'm giving in the properties. Okay, like EMP table DS. Okay, DS stands for data set. And here there is a property called query. Okay, and here first we need to select the data source type query. Okay, and query I'm browsing here. Here all the queries will be listed out here, and we should select our query name EMP table query. See here. Okay, but before selecting this one, first we need to build the project. Okay, otherwise sometimes system unable to select the query here, so better to build and select your query. Okay, fine. So a little bit errors will come before, because I have not created completely the report, right? That's what it is showing some errors. Okay, fine. Let me select the query again here. EMP table query. Sometimes we will get the error here. Sometimes the system unable to find the, see this one, this is the error actually. The query EMP table is not valid, something like. We'll try again. Okay. Okay, fine. Park it for some time. I'll tell you tomorrow. This one, if it is selected, but we need to select the query here. Otherwise, we cannot move forward. Okay, fine. Keep it this one. I'll share one video. Already I have created a query based report. I'll share that video. Okay, and we'll see this one later. And the next report, I'm going to tell you about RDP model, report data provider. In this report data provider, so what is the difference between query and RDP model? There are two types of reports. I just want to tell you here. Query based report is a straightforward report. I mean, whatever the data we have in the table, so straight away we can bringing into the report itself. So there is no like criterias, and we are not going to using any criterias. Directly we will show the data in the report itself. But here, when it comes to the RDP model, report data provider, so here we can apply some conditions. Based on some criteria, we can show the data in the report itself. For example, I'll tell you one simple example here. We have a table called EMP table. In this EMP table, we have a couple of records. Okay, and let me open the loan table also. Let me open the loan table. This is your loan table. Now my requirement is who are having status yes. Okay, who are having status yes. I just want to uh, fetch the loan records into the report. For example, if you select like 102 record, 104 record, 105 record, and 107 records. 1, 2, 3, 4 records we have. So those 4 records, relevant records for loans, I just want to show in a report based on condition. Based on condition, I would like to show information in a report. This kind of requirements basically. And also, I'll tell you one more example. In dialog box, I will create 2 date fields, like from date and to date. According to the dates which I have given in the dialog box, I would like to fetch data from the EMP table. That is another scenario. Okay, first let me finish this scenario. We'll see this one also. First, in dialog box, I will try to create 2 fields like from date and to date with respect to the date of birth. I will give some to date values in from date 1 values to date according to the date range. we will select the data from the EMP table and I will show it in a report itself. Okay. So this is also another requirement. Okay. For this one, we have to do a couple of things here. First of all, here we are approaching table, right? Here we are approaching one table. First, we need to create temporary table. I mean, first we need to create a temporary table. This is temporary table. In this temporary table, whatever the data we want to collect based on the condition, this is original table. This is original table. This is a temporary table. This is temporary table. Okay. From original table to temporary table, we need to push the data, right? And through class, I mean, I need to write a class. I need to write a class. In this class, I will write the business logic to send the data to the temporary table. We have a original table, and also I will create one temporary table, and I will create one class. Okay, I will create one class. In this class, I will write some business logic to collect the data from original table to temporary table. From temporary table to, I will push the data to the report. This is report. You got my point? By using class, I will collect the data from original table to, I will collect the data from original table and I will send to the temporary table. From this temporary table, I will push the data to the report itself. So first we need to create
what is required means I'm sorry, means why can't we directly bind the report from the original table?
Sometimes we will have multiple tables here, original tables. Suppose I have two tables. I need to collect the data from these two tables. Okay. And I need to send to the temporary table, final data.
Okay, so does it work like a view?
No, not view. Here we can use tables. Here we can use views in this layer, in this section. Here you can use tables. Here you can use anything. Anything is fine. But what I'm saying, whatever the data finally you want to show in a report, those records we will bring and we will set up in the temporary table itself initially. From that temporary table to, we will push the data to the report, because every time when we run the report, we will get different records, right? So that is the reason we are using temporary table in between original table and the report. Why we are using temporary table? In the sense, every time when we run the report, I will give different criterias. I will give you different dates. So every time system will fetch the different records and it will store in the temporary table. From that temporary table, we will take the data to the report. So the data will be deleted permanently from the temporary table every time after collecting the data. So temporary table will be empty every time. When we run the report, again system will try to fetch the data from original tables to temporary table. Once the data we will send to the report, temporary table will be empty automatically. It's a buffer. We are using temporary purpose.
Okay.
So this is the criteria we are following here. So already we have our original tables. So first we need to create a temporary table and we need to create a class. After creating temporary table, okay, I will write a class and I will try to push the data from original table to temporary table. After that, I will create a report and I will use the temporary table. That's it. Okay, just follow these steps and you can able to create the report. Now, first of all, let me create a temporary table. And okay, first let me discuss the scenario here. First, we will do one thing. Here, I'm creating a dialog box. Okay. In this dialog box, I require two fields, from date and to date. Okay. Anyway, you will get OK button and cancel button in the dialog box itself normally. That is common. Here I will provide one date. Here I will provide another date. According to these dates, system will identify the relevant records from this table. This data I will send to the temporary table. This is temporary table. Collected records. Whatever the records we have collected according to the date range, those records. For example, if I have given second month, so this record, this record, this record, this record. So these 4 records automatically will send to the temporary table. From temporary table to, we will push the data to the report. This is report. So everything, it will happen through class. So we need to write a class here. Every business, like, I mean, whatever the business logic we are thinking here, okay, everything we will write it in the class level itself. Through class, we will achieve everything here. Now, okay, so this is the criteria. This is the scenario which I'm going to tell you right now. So first of all, let me create a temporary table. I mean, in temporary table, what kind of fields we need to create? I mean, in report, how you want to show how you want to develop the report. In report, what kind of data you want to show? Okay, fine. You are selecting the data based on the date of birth, and what kind of data you want to show? Employee ID, name, date of birth, something like phone number, address, something like, or 4 or 5 fields in the report itself. So based on that, you need to create a temporary table. And what is temporary table here? Till now, whatever the tables we have created, these are all regular tables. When you see the properties, when you go to the property type, table type, there is a property called table type. See here, it is a regular table. Regular table can store the data permanently until unless you delete the records manually. But when you create a table, and if you change the property from regular table to in memory or temp DB, that will convert as a temporary table. After creating the table, you should change the option from regular to in memory or temp DB. Anything is fine. But here, there are 2 criteria here in temporary tables: in memory type and temporary temp DB type. In memory, so when we need to select in memory, when we use to select a temp DB. Suppose you are processing low amount of data, which is less than 128 KB. If you think you are processing low amount of data into the temporary table, then you need to select in memory option. Suppose you have a huge amount of data, 10 lakh records, 20 lakh records, then you can go for temp DB. Once the data has crossed 128 KB, but of course we cannot identify how much size of data is available in our table. We cannot identify, but technically I'm saying here, when the data is less than 128 KB, whatever the data you are processing, that data is less than 128 KB, you can go for in memory. It's not a problem. Suppose if the data is greater than 128 KB, better to go for temp DB. Suppose you have selected in memory and you are processing huge amount of data, then automatically once it is crossed 128 KB of data, automatically and the burden placed on RAM and hard disk, so your system will get slow. So that is the reason.
One question here. Let's say if we have a data less than 128 KB, so in that case, even can we use a temp DB?
Of course, you can use it, not a problem. But here, what I'm saying here, they have given 2 options. For example, suppose you are selecting in memory, In memory means system allocate only limited size of the table, limited size for the table. Suppose if you are using tempdb, system needs to allocate dynamically, right? So that will take memory consumption, cache memory consumption. So that is the reason they have given two types here related to performance. Suppose I just want to store only 10 characters in my integer variable, I mean string variable. So that is the reason I don't want to set the size 100 characters, because system has to allocate 100 characters, right? But only I'm using 10 characters. Remaining 90 characters will be empty, right, every time. So related to performance issues here, we need to think whether you need to go for in-memory or tempdb. Suppose if you selected a tempdb directly, of course system has to allocate extra memory for your temporary table. Okay, fine, no problem. Meanwhile, okay, I'm selecting I will create a temporary table and I will select in memory. For meanwhile, now I'm creating a temporary table, data model, and selecting a table, emp tmp table. And here in the table name I have mentioned a tmp word, so that is mandatory. So everybody, I mean if anyone's seen this table, okay, everybody can understand, okay, it is temporary table. So follow the naming conventions. Okay, use the word in the mid of the name or ending of the table name. You should provide a tmp word so that everybody can understand, okay, it is a temporary table. And in this table, what kind of fields you want to show? I'm copying from main table. I would like to show employee ID, name, date of birth, age, something like address. I just want to show 5 fields. Copy, and I'm pasting in the temporary table. And now I'm selecting table type in memory here. Okay, save it and try to build the project along with the synchronization. Okay, no problem. This is we are getting from previous query based report error. Okay, that's not an issue. Okay, build process completed. Now we have created a temporary table. Now I'm creating a class to fetch the data from. Okay, here two things we need to create. I mean, two classes we need to create here. One is to build the dialog box, that is called contract class. Here I'm going to creating a class called contract class. That contract class will interact with the end user to collect the arguments, to collect the criteria. I mean, here what I have explained, dialog box related, right? In the dialog box, what we discussed, two fields like from date and to date, right? For that, we need to create a contract class. Guys, just a second. Okay, now after creating the temporary table, now I'm creating a contract class to develop the dialog box. Okay, the main business logic I will write in RDP class. Here we need to write two classes. One is contract class and second one is RDP class. In contract class, we will define what kind of arguments we need to place in the dialog box itself. So for that reason, I'm creating a contract class here. Here I'm writing EMP DOB contract class. So when you are writing a contract class or RDP class, you should place the name contract word. In RDP class, you should place RDP or DP. Okay. So that in future you will get understand very easily. Okay, it is a contract class related class. I have mentioned the EMP DOB contract class. Now in this class, so we have to create attributes in the dialog box. So that's what there is a predefined signature is there, like data member attribute, data member. Okay, it is a class actually, data member attribute. So that this class, in this class we are mentioning attributes in the sense fields. Okay, actually it is a new class. Okay, it is not a predefined class, I mean override class. Here we require two date fields, so that's what I'm declaring, two date fields, trans date. The trans date is the extended data type, or else you can use date also, standard data type. Okay, here I'm writing from date to date. It is a variables. Okay, from date and to date I'm taking variables.
So Arjun, one second. So data member attribute class. So you have written this in brackets. So what is the meaning of written in brackets?
See, in this class we have some features. Okay, I just want to use those features in this class, so that is the reason I'm declaring in the header.
Okay, so if any class if we have and we want to use that features, we can write in this way.
Yes.
In bracket.
In previous class also we have written, right? In which class we have written parameters, asset parameters class, something like we have used some syntaxes. I mean, in event handler methods.
And in case of multiple class attribute, if you want to bring here, comma separator.
It is a system class actually. It is a data member is a system class. See here. Okay, data member attribute. This particular class I'm using here. Okay, here. Okay, fine. So we required two date fields in our dialog box. So to fetch the data, I'm writing like a public trans date. This is the base syntax. You just follow this syntax and all. Okay, like a param from date, param FD, or else
And
I will write
data type?
class name is our EMP DOB contract class.
No, trans date you have written from date and to date is of trans date type.
See,
Trans
okay, fine. Don't get confused. Okay,
No,
I
no.
have
So
written date.
we have what so was it written in data member attribute?
Trans date is a extended data type. Trans date is the extended data type. By using extended data type, we define the variables. For example, in extended data types concept already I have explained you. For example, I just want to declare a date value. How can I declare date D? Instead of date, I will use a trans date also. Trans date D like this. Both are same. But here I'm using standard data type, but here I'm using extended data type. Nothing is there difference. Okay, both are same. Here the return type is trans date. Here the return type is date. Here you can write public date param from date. That is also okay, fine, no issues. Or else you can use extended data type here as a return type. It is a return type. Normally we will write public void, right? Here I'm writing trans date. That means we would like to return the date. So that is the reason I'm writing trans date. Trans date. Okay, and here, okay, I have a from date extended data type is there. From date. Okay, here I'm declaring from date FD equal to already we have written from date in the variable. Okay, fine. We will do one thing. I will keep underscore here for your better understanding purpose. Okay, underscore from date. Here underscore from date equal to underscore FD return underscore from date. So finally, your data will be available in the underscore from date variable. In the same way, I will write for to date. Copy this code and I'm pasting here. Public trans date param to date. It is a to date method. Okay, here also I'm writing to date extended data type is there. Underscore TD. That's it. So here I have written two methods. One is param from date, param to date. Through these two methods, I will get from date and to date from the dialog box. And in dialog box, I just want to show something like labels and help text kind of thing. So here, just I'm using like data member. There is a class called data member attribute, right? Data member attribute. Okay, here string name. I'm using like from date, comma. Here there is a class called sys operational label attribute. Sys operational label attribute. Okay, here the label. What kind of label you want to provide for the from date? Okay, I'm providing for from date is from date. Okay, the same thing I will write it for to date also. Here to date and here also to date. That's it. This is the contract class. This contract class I will use in RDP class. Okay, keep it like this. This one.
So what is this
Now I'm ready.
operational attribute? So these are
It is a
labels.
class. It is a class. Through this class, we are sending label to the to date field. To date will appear. See, please listen.
Data member
To
attribute
date.
is the name and this is the label, right? Okay. Hello.
Let me complete here. Okay. It is a label. This text is a label. Okay. This text is a label. This text I'm passing an argument to the to date field. Suppose if you are not giving this to sys operational label attribute and you are not passing the label value, so directly in your dialog box, whatever the label we have for date, whatever the label we have for the to date, that automatically appear. We cannot get the labels in the dialog box, so that is the reason manually I'm writing piece of code and setting the labels in the dialog box. Suppose if you are writing 10 fields, you need to write 10 lines of code. This one, every field you need to set up the label. Okay, fine. I will do one thing. Okay, I will give a star mark here. Okay, star
And
mark.
what is the first true date in data member attribute?
Data member attribute, it will identify. Okay, it will identify the to date. It will identify the to date, and the label will set up to the to date. That is the reason we are using this class, because of we need to use some features from the data member attribute. We are declaring here to render the labels, help text, and sizes of the fields. Everything we can get it from the data member attribute class. That is a system class. So we cannot see the code in that particular data member attribute class.
Okay,
Okay,
so
fine.
from data member attribute class, this to date, right? So we have passed to date as an argument. So is it a method or what? Which attribute we have taken here?
Data member attribute is a class. Okay. Data member attribute is a class. Already I have shown you, right?
So that's fine. So class.
See here, to pass the labels, help text, any dynamically, if you want to pass the sizes to the fields, okay, we have to use a data member attribute class and sys operational classes. Sys operational classes. In sys operational classes, there are many classes: sys operational label attribute, sys operational size related things, and everything we have. We need to use those classes. Okay, keep it like this class, contract class. Now I'm creating one more class to develop the business logic. Now I'm creating a new class here, emp bob emp bob class dp. Normally the dp word we need to set up at last. Okay, dp means data provider class. emp dob class dp. dp stands for data provider. How exactly we have written a contract word, right? In the same way, emp dob class dp I am writing here. Now here I'm extending with extends SRS report data provider base. We need to extend with this class. This is a standard class actually. SRS, not SSRS, okay? SRS. SRS report data provider base. So when you are creating a data provider classes, when you are constructing a data provider classes, we have to use this class and we need to inherit the methods. I mean, in this data provider class, we have, okay, I'll show you that. If you go to the override method here, insert override method, these are the classes we need to use. Okay, like a param data contract, okay, param query, okay, process report methods. All these methods I will use right now. I'll use right now in this particular emp dob class dp. So that is the reason I'm extending with the SRS reported data provider base class. Okay, now to acquire the methods in a particular class, okay, I will use here SRS report data set. There is a attribute report data set. Okay, sorry, not this one, SRS report parameter attribute. Okay, class name, already we have written contract class, right? The class name I'm giving class str emp dob contract class, so that we can call these methods param from date, param to date methods. I can able to call directly in this particular, we can access these methods, param from date method, param to date method, in this class, because of I'm writing a signature, right?
So even we can extend that class, and by using inheritance property, we can do that. Right?
You can only override, but you cannot call. If you are extending a class, you can override the method inside the parent class, but you cannot call. If you want to access the methods directly without changing their behavior, so I'm just writing a signature here. Directly I can use it. See how I'm using here. Okay, now from which table you want to get the data? So that table name I'm defining here, emp table, emp loc, and the temporary table name emp tmp table, emp tmp loc. Okay, or else I'm giving emp tmp. Okay, it is a temporary table. And now the contract class name emp dob contract class. For this one also I'm defining a contract class loc. Okay, contract class loc, and I'm defining two date variables, trans date underscore frm dt underscore tdt. Okay, I have declared two date variables. Okay, I will define like I will define like this. From date 1 to date 1, from date 1 to date 1, because already the same variables we have defined here. So that is the reason I'm to show the difference, I'm writing from date 1 to date 1 like this. Okay, from date 1 to date 1. Okay, now so here I'm writing a new method, public. So what is the temporary table name? emp table, right? Get emp table. Here first we need to select the table, and we need to return the table finally. Select emp return emp tmp. Here the return type is table, public table, the return type is table, and this is your method name. Okay, so if the return type is table, we need to select the table, and we need to return the table finally. I'm selecting the table and I'm returning the table. Okay, and here to identify this in the Visual Studio, SRS report data set name, report data set attribute. Okay, table report data set name. So we need to use a table str. Your temporary table name is emp tmp table. Otherwise this table we cannot get it in the Visual Studio while we are fetching the data. So this statement is very important. So in this method, I'm just rendering the table. I'm selecting the data from the EMP temporary table and I'm returning the table here. So this table, I mean, I'll tell you where exactly this we will catch the table. We are returning the table. Somewhere else we need to catch, right? We need to hold the table. So that I will tell you where exactly we will take this table. When we are returning this table. Now I will write the business logic in process report method. Right click on the screen, go to the insert override methods. There is a process report method is there. This is completely override method. Okay. Okay. Here super will not work. You can delete this one. And okay. Now already we have defined contract class object, right? This one. Contract class object equal to this dot. This means current object. What is the current object? In this current object is this one. We are accessing the SRS report data provider base, right? So here this dot, okay, you can find all the methods here, methods, variables, and everything here. So we need to call the param data contract.
क्या बनाऊं कुछ नहीं हाँ 9,000 रुपए इंक्रीमेंट दे दो
Param data contract.
आपकी मतलब 9,000 रुपए
Already we have defined underscore from
इसका मतलब यही कह रहे हैं बहुत कंप्रेसिव मतलब
underscore from date 1 equal to EMP. Sorry. In this variable, straight away I will store the values from the contract class dot param from date. Param from date value I'm storing in underscore from date. Underscore to date 1 dot param to date. So these values, I mean these methods we are accessing from the contract class. Here we have written the param from date, param to date. These two methods values I'm storing in underscore from date and underscore to date. Okay, now I'm writing while select statement to get the data from the EMP table. While select EMP LOC, where EMP LOC dot DOB less than or equal to underscore from date 1 and EMP LOC dot DOB greater than or equal to underscore to date 1.
Multinational company, I mean, say multinational company.
Okay, now this is the time to push the data to the temporary table. Already we have defined the temporary table object name EMP TMP. Okay, EMP TMP dot EMP ID.
देखो दीपक को मेरा प्रेजेंट में केवल 1,000 रुपए का फर्क।
Jitendra, can you mute your mic, please? Okay, EMP TMP dot EMP ID equal to EMP LOC dot EMP ID. And in the same way, we need to write for all the fields. I think we have 5 fields in the table. Name, DOB, address, okay, and address is and we need to insert the data into the temporary table. emp tmp dot call the insert method. That's it. Whatever the data we are selecting through the arguments, records will be selected and we are inserting the data into the temporary table. This temporary table I'm returning here. Okay. So that's it. We have two methods and one class declaration here. This is class declaration area. In this class declaration area, and here we have defined main table object, temporary table object, contract class object, and I have defined two temporary variables. Date filter is correct, I think. EMP underscore from date 1 underscore from date 2. Okay, fine, we'll see. Okay, here okay, so one is a table type method. This is table type method. In this table type method, we are returning the table. Whenever we are returning the table, in that table we will have selected records. Of course, we are returning the table here. We are returning the table. In this table, whatever the records we have selected according to the date range we have given in the dialog box, those records will be there in that particular temporary table. This temporary table I will use whenever I'm creating a report. Okay, keep this one aside. And now I'm creating a report.
So Arjun, one thing, so here get emp table, where it is being called return type class table.
I'll tell you right now.
Table.
I will tell you. While I'm creating a report, you can understand here.
So if you have multiple tables and multiple insertion, we should write process report 2 times, or how does it work? If you have multiple.
No, only one report, one method will be there. It is override method, right? Override method will be, we can take only one time. How can you take multiple times?
Yeah.
Everything we need to write in the process report itself. Whatever the business logic you have, everything we should write it in the process report method. This process report method will execute automatically. No need to call anywhere. Only after this will execute automatically, but because of this syntax, while we are selecting RDP model, when we select this class, automatically system finds this data set. System will find this data set. Okay, in that data set we are returning the table, right? Automatically the table will pick. Okay,
No.
keep this one. I'll show you.
No. My question
After
is, if we have two tables, how we'll add it? That's the question.
See, if you have two tables, finally you will have to insert the data into the temporary table. According to that, you will write the business logic here.
So like if we have two tables, we'll have create only one temporary table, right? Doesn't matter how many tables we have. That's my question.
Only one table, only one temporary table you will create, and finally you will send the from n number of tables to collected data into the temporary table. So according to that, you will write the business logic here. Here I'm selecting the data from single table. Suppose if you have a multiple tables to get the data, and you will write multiple while select or join query.
Yeah.
Here you will change the syntax. That's it. Here you will change the syntax and you will write according to your report model, report structure. Suppose already I told you here we have a status as records. Who are having status yes, according to that I need to fetch the loans information. Okay, according to that you will write the code while select emp loc where emp loc dot status equal to 1, and inside one more while select you will write. And already that kind of business logic we have written in the DML operations. Okay, not DML. I think joins. Just a second, I'll show you that.
Classes.
This one. Or else this one. If you apply the same syntax, whatever we are talking about, that scenario will work. Status equal to equal. According to that, we are selecting the employees in the loan table, and inside this logic will change. Here we will insert the data into the temporary table.
Yeah. So it will be like, okay, after one while select, we'll write other while select. Yeah.
Yes. Or else you can use join class. If you are able to work with the joins, you can write the join class. It's fine. Okay. Now let me create a report. Here the scenario will understand. Okay. The report name I'm giving EMP DOB report, like I'm giving RDP. Okay, it's a RDP model, right? That's what I'm giving RDP in the report, even for your understanding purpose. Okay, now I'm providing some title, employee date of birth. This will show as a title in the report. Now I'm creating a data set. The data set name I'm giving EMP DOB DS. Okay, here data source type, report data provider. Okay, report data provider, you need to select in the data source type property. And now if you clicking on query, here system will identify the data provider classes. See, all the classes ending with DP, DP, DP. See, in every class we have a DP word. Here you cannot see our contract class. Contract class is also a class. Data provider is a class, also a class, but you cannot see normal classes and other classes. Only you can see data provider classes in this list. In this list only you can see data provider classes. How? If you extend your class with this class, whenever you extend your class with this class, in this list you can find that, you can find here. Why the system is not showing EMP DOB contract class here? It will not show because it is not extended with SRS report data provider class. Whatever the classes we have extended or already extended with the SRS report data provider base, only those classes we can see here. Okay, what is our class name? EMP DOB class DB, right? EMP DOB. Okay, let's build the project. See here, EMP DOB class DB. When you clicking on next, okay, on top of C, select a report data provider. See, there is a heading here. Select a report data provider. Now I'm selecting, and when you see here, and it is a data set. System automatically fetches EMP TMP table. System selects automatically fetches EMP TMP table. This one we have written in a signature at a temporary table method, table type method. So that's what system identifying EMP TMP table. Now I'm selecting whatever the fields we have in the temporary table, all the fields I'm selecting here. And when you clicking on OK, system automatically generates a query here. What it is showing here? Select a star from EMP DOB class DP. This is your class name. And EMP TMP table, right? This is your temporary table. Here, this one. We are returning this table, right? Temporary table name automatically showing here. It is in this class. In this class, there is a EMP TMP table. We are selecting this one. Now, okay. Now see, automatically fields will be reflected in the data set. See, address, age, date of birth, employed, everything. Whatever the fields we have selected, all the fields comes into this particular data set. Now, I'm creating a design here. I'm creating an auto design. The auto design name, like I'm giving something like EMPDOB auto design. Just I have given some name. And the title, if you want to keep the same title, okay, no problem. If you want to change, you can change it here also. And the most important property is layout template. The layout template, I'm selecting second one, report layout style template. This is common template. We will use it for every report generation. Okay. And the remaining properties are not important. You just select only name and layout template. That's it. Now simply drag and drop this particular data set into the auto design. Drag and drop. Okay. And change the name. Once you drag and drop EMP DOBDS, system shows additional name table 1. If you want, you can change it, otherwise leave it like this. And you need to select style template. Style I'm selecting table style alternating rows. Table style alternating rows in the sense, one row will be shaded, one row will be normal, one row will be shaded, like that. Table style alternating rows template. Title data source, I'm giving date of birth. I'm giving that's it. No need to make any changes here in the properties. Now when you expand the table 1, these are the final fields. These are the final fields, and arrange in order. Like first I need to show employee ID, after that name, age, date of birth, and address. So this is the final report format. And when you select parameters, see here, EMP DOBDS dataset underscore from date underscore to date. So this is the parameters we will have in the report itself. Okay. Now save the changes, and once you created the report, after creating successfully report, go to your project. Go to your project. See here, there is a reports folder. Okay. Now right click on your report name, EMP DOB report RDP. Right click, and there is a property called there is an option called deploy reports. Clicking on the deploy reports, so system automatically deploys this report in the local server itself. See here, the deployment process is going on. It is done. Once it is done, so you will get this message like this item does not support previewing. Okay, so our report has been deployed. Now for this report, I will create one menu item. Now I'm creating a menu item. Go to the user interface, like output menu item creating. First time we are creating output menu item. The report name I'm giving like EMP, DOB, RDP, report.
Can't we use display menu item for showing reports?
Display menu item for forms.
All right, all right.
Okay, I have created output menu. Output report is output, right? We would not change any. We would not change anything, right? After generating the report, just for viewing purpose. That's it.
All right.
Report is only viewing purpose. Form, we can change something after displaying the data. We can change something in the form, but after displaying the report, I cannot change anything. It is a like a predefined structure format. We can directly print the report. That's it.
Exactly.
So here I have created a menu item called EMP DOB RDP report MI. MI means menu item. And here, just go to the properties, and the label is very important. Okay, employee date of birth. And here there is a property called object type. Object type is SSRS report, right? Object type SSRS report, and the object name is, you need to provide your report name. What is the report name? This one, EMP DOB report RDP. EMP DOB report RDP. That's it. So our report has been attached to this menu item. This menu item I will integrate into the front end application in the HRM extensions. Okay, there is a menu, right? HRM extensions. Here directly I will drag and drop this menu item in HR management system. Where is the output menu item? This one. Simply I will drag and drop this menu item into the user interface. Save the changes. Build the project. We'll open from the front end.
Yeah, is it SSRS report? Actually,
Yes.
Initially you were just going to work on SSRS report, and you said that we'll see it tomorrow. So I think this is a SSRS report.
That is also SSRS report, but that is query based report. In SSRS, I'm planning to tell you two types of reports. Query based. It is a straightforward case. No need to write any piece of code. Directly we can generate a report from one table.
Okay, means we are showing all the records from one table.
All the records will show directly, okay, without any criteria. But here I just want to show only selected records based on the dialog box. So that's what we have written, these many classes, these many codes, and these many things here.
Yeah, this is
calculate?
Quite lengthy. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Please proceed, brother.
Just a second. I'll open the user interface. Okay, fine. Just let me open the table in the browser. Okay, we'll go for a first date. Okay, first date means 3 records we need to show in the report. First date. Okay, we will get 3 records. Okay, now go to the HR management module. One second. Here, employee record creation. Just a second, guys. Okay, it is not reflected actually. Or else we'll delete that report, query based report. I'm deleting. See, while you are building your project, when you see there is an additional step will be there. Report RDL generation started. Report design. This one is report design. Once you build the project, the report automatically design in the backend. The report design will happen. If it is a report available in your project. Otherwise, that sentence will not show while you build the project. Just a minute. Let me. Or else we can directly execute the menu item from our project even. If it is not reflected in the user interface, we can execute from here also. Okay, fine. See here, there is an employee date of birth. When you click here, it will open a dialog box. Unable to find the report design, RDP. Okay, just a second. Where is the report? Okay. Build started. Just wait a minute. See here, we have given star marks on label value, right? From date star mark to date star mark. Okay, fine. So I'm giving like 1st January, okay, and 31st January. Clicking on OK. So we should get 3 records according to the date range. I think we have written a, where is that RDB class? Have we written correctly here? Greater than or equal to or what? Okay, no problem. Three records, first month, okay. And when you see, there are no labels for years, and date of birth is okay, fine, but address, no label, okay. If you go to the report, in the report, you should select something like, go to the design, there is a name, right, EMD ID, and provide, suppose if you see here, and the alignment of the label is in left hand side, right? The label will be aligned to left hand side. Suppose I am making the alignment, text alignment center, and the label already is there. Go to the name is already there, and the text element I'm giving center, and yes, center, and actually there is no label for the yes, that's what it is not showing anything. Okay, I'm typing here is. Okay, here date of birth is there. If you provided at temporary table level, no need to provide here. Only if you select a text element, that is enough. But we doesn't have any labels in the temporary table itself. After creating the temporary table, we should provide the labels, help text, and everything here. So then only it will reflect correctly in the report itself. And address, text element is also giving center. Save the changes, and again I'm deploying the report. After deploying, you just need to build the project and again open the report. That's it.
Arjun, can't we preview the report?
Here we cannot see the report. Report is always will open in the user interface, right? From here you just do one thing. without creating menu item, you just select a startup object. For report, you can make startup object, right? Report is a user interface. You can make like there is a report right here. This one for menu item. You can make startup object and you can execute from here. Okay, I have make it startup object. I'm executing from here. I can execute menu item, right?
All right.
Arjun, we can also design report ourselves, right? In this.
That is precision design. Precision design is depends on our requirement. What kind of fields we want to show like that.
And what about calculated fields? If you want to calculate something, how do we write for that?
That is display method. Already we discussed about display method. Okay, that display method I'll show you in query based report. I'll show you that calculated field.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, this point is really important. Actually, what if we need to design our own report and show some fields?
A little bit.
And show some, yeah, you know, what if we need to design our own report and show some fields which are basically calculated ones? Yeah, so please taught us this one also.
Okay, first of all, practice this one because there are a lot of things involved in this. Okay, you will get confused if you are going for precision design. Precision design is completely drag and drop kind of thing. So what kind of field I want to show, where exactly in the screen itself we need to drag and drop, we need to make some changes and all. Okay, when we have a SSRS reports knowledge, that would be better. Precision design, little bit knowledge is required, like SSRS reports design previously. Our developers mostly prefer RTP. I mean, this kind of auto design direct straight away design. Precision design little bit. We need to adjust the controls in the report itself, everything.
Yeah, but
And
you know, you just willing to learn that also because that is
you just
real
cite SSRS reports. Normal SSRS report design the same. See here. Here you can export the report from here to PDF format, Word format, Excel format, anything like here, TIFF format, something like directly.
Arjun, share its recording soon. Okay,
Sure.
please. All right, shall we?